People were so frustrated. Or was it Monday? Okay, let's do the intro first, then we'll chew on. What's up, everybody? Welcome to my channel. My name is Perseverance Maremeni, also known as Madam Speaker, also known as the CEO of Self-Love. If you're joining for the first time, welcome to the family of healing, self-love, and motivation. And if you're returning, thank you so much for the continuous love and support that you are showing us, guys. Today, I want us to talk about, I apologize for the chewing, it was probably a bad idea for me to start biting on this thing before doing the intro. So I apologize for that. Anyway, I want us to talk about the video that I did during the day, which is entitled Parents. There's this lady on TikTok, she calls herself Doormat Mom, And whenever you go through her videos one of those videos where you will have more comments than likes. Ne? Rakgadi Gabo Perseverance go pela ngomela di-visa ka pex. You know what? You know, I was actually thinking to myself during the day that it's funny how when you don't have a baby and people say you should have a child and you're like, what will that child eat? And then they tell you, no, you and the child will eat whatever you are eating. Then you give birth to children. The next thing, the children have got their own specific thing for a scarf tin. I don't touch that food, it's for the scarf tin for the children. Ow. What happened to the children will eat what I'm eating. Haibo. Muhluri, the Xhosa lady who got married for just 3 weeks. Who is that lady, Muhluri? What are you guys talking about? Oh, the one that... Oh, okay. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, King Makwana, for the gifts. Hey, guys, but I'm Venda, guys. I don't know what you guys are talking about, but anyway, it's fine. So as I was saying, good evening, welcome, come through, guys. So as I was saying, the lady that I'm actually talking about is not from South Africa. She's not South African. When you go through her comments, her videos, comments are more than likes. You know, once you see comments being more than likes, before you even finish the video, you must know this person wapota. Like, guys, comments can never be more than likes. Once comments are more than likes, lo muntu lo wapota. You get what I mean? So this lady had like a series of videos are just crazy, guys. Like, you would think this is only happening in Limpopo with people who our boomma generation can't. No, it's happening worldwide, where this lady says that these kids on strange kids on the internet, adult children on the internet, have a tendency of saying, I don't owe my parents anything. Yena, in her opinion, you owe your parents everything. You owe your parents for the fact that they gave birth to you, they took care of you, they gave you protection, they gave you a good education, and. You know? So you as a child, you owe your parent. Did they not fetch her? Because literally that woman is having a crash out because, Nangu, yes, you can talk if you want. Are you an adult or are you a child, my dear? Because kids are not allowed on this. Oh, you're an adult. Sorry. You look so cute when the picture is still small. I thought maybe it's a child. You can come through as a guest. You can request to join in as a guest and then you can talk to us. So I posted that short video across all social media platforms, and I was so shocked about the number of people who came forward to say, okay, it's not really shocking me because we've had these conversations before, where we spoke about parents who just feel so entitled and claim to be good parents. When you're a good parent and then your children just decide or they're just going to not take care of you, they're not gonna okay, let me just send you a request, the invitation, so you will just accept on your side if you want to come through and join as a guest. And I sent invitation. I've sent you an invitation. And some people were busy saying that, listen, this is the reason why some white kids decide to send their parents to old age homes, because of how toxic they are and how they believe that they own their children. You know, once you think you own your children and they owe you everything. Nangu, welcome, my darling.
Hi, sweetie pie.
How are you doing, Mama?
I've been wanting to talk to you for months.
Is it?
I feel like crying right now.
What happened?
A lot is happening. A lot is happening, but let us deal with this one that you have on your topic right now.
Wait, let me send you a request, ne?
This elephant is too huge to can devour it for 15 minutes.
Sure. So, what is your take on this current matter?
Of the kids. I personally didn't birth no kids, but naturally I have my uncles, my nephews, my nieces, my blood brothers, kids who are looking up to me. And at the end of the journey, you have to come out a hero, because the boys will be putting their top parts of their trousers to the bottom. The girls will be pulling their skirts up, and you have to be there to teach the kids that how were you wearing in the 70s, and these kids will see you as a stupid. It's tough. It's tough, girl, because these kids, when they approaches with arms blazing, and they are going to test the waters. If you don't have a backbone, they are going to like skin you alive. Do you get what I'm saying? I hope this thing that I'm saying makes sense.
Yeah.
That these kids, I'm worried about this, my 2000s Anna that we are raising, that are wanting to put things all together, the IA, the what and what and what, all this technology, and try to wire it. Tori ifite runa, we way above that. We are not beyond it. We are way above it. So they think, Hore, they have their way of talking to us. They have their way of wearing their clothes, and they have their way of cooking, and who's cooking what and who's doing what. It's chaotic. It is chaotic. I was home and watching that happening in front of my eyes. I was just quiet. And we are talking about the ages of 3 to 16. Yeah, the brother is 16. Wanting to control everything that we want to do at home. And I was like, where is this generation going? Because we'll end up having no say in their lives. We'll end up knowing what to do and how to help them. When they get stuck in all this IA thing that they think is going to help them, because these kids are so far, and you and I are not thinking and dreaming as broad as they are. So I just wanted to check as to where they're going. Where are they going? What I want is them to be comfortable and not damaged.
Okay. No, thank you so much, Mama. I really appreciate your input. I believe that the people here, they are hearing, and yeah, they should be able to tell us what's what. The questions remains, where are you going? Mamello, Wesley Black. Thank you so much. I appreciate you, your Mama. I believe we'll continue connecting on the comment section there regarding the questions, very important questions that she has posed there to the 2000s and this AI generated things that we are believing in today. But anyway, back to the order of the day. We are still on entitlement when it comes to parents believing that when they give birth to you, they own you, and also believing that for the rest of your life, you should be you should serve them in a way, because I believe that majority of us who are here, we love our parents. I believe that I love my parents so much that them raising me, they don't make me feel like they own me. Can you please make us understand this perseverance? This is what I'm actually doing, firstborn. I agree we are going back to the original topic where we are talking about the parents' entitlement when it comes to their children. We're talking about a lady whose video I posted earlier on during the day, who was saying that she's an elderly lady, who was posting. I would like to call it a crash out about her adult children who are estranged, who believe that Bona they can just keep her grandchildren away from her and the works. And she was saying that as adult children, you must always know that you owe your parents everything, because you are where you are because of your parents. You owe them because they protected you. You owe them because they cared for you. They gave you security, a home, school, and this and this and this and that. And that actually shows that your parents are good parents to you. Therefore, you must honor them with just, showing that, treat them in that manner. Treat them as people who actually owe you. These black tax parents fail, and they think when you will just be a robot and do everything for them. Basically, that's where we are going with this topic, when Salomene, to say that when I posted that video during the day, I saw you would think, I think I did say even before Mama joined here to share her thoughts about where are we going as a generation. But before that, I did share that there are certain people who said that if you see how old age homes are filled with old white women, or old people, male and female, it's because they're kids. They were not good parents, and usually parents who feel like their kids owe them anything are parents who are actually not good parents. They just feel like you must accept whatever, because they did so much for you, even if they did the bare minimum, which is their obligation. You get what I mean? So because of that, when you grow older, I think it goes back to us talking about not only black tax, but just narcissistic parents in general, how that actually affects your life, because having narcissistic parents, which we in our languages or commonly we would call, to a certain degree, in a level manyana, so on the inside, where you cannot do anything with your wife without running it past your mom. Your mom is in charge of who you marry, what you do, what is bought in your house. You cannot build a house for yourself without building a house for your mom, and all of that stuff, And basically, that's what we are here to talk about today, to say you would think that these things only happen in black households, where we have got this black text, that's as we call it. But the shock of my life when I saw this coming from a white woman saying that she feels like her kids owe her everything, it may not be that maybe she wants to be taken care of financially, like she wants money from her child, but the fact that she feels entitled to her child's life because I gave birth to you, I own you, I brought you to this world, I can take you out if I want. That on its own is exhausting. And you can imagine a child who grew up thinking that they owe their parents everything. Because I believe that by the time these kids grow up and they decide to distance themselves from such a parent, there must have been a lot that went on in terms of the grooming, that took place when they were still growing up. Salome says we are obliged to raise our kids. They do not owe us anything. It's up to them if they wanna assist. Absolutely, I agree with you. I remember my dad always says this, ne? My dad always says that because he's got a lot of kids, he really just wants to raise his kids so that they can get off his payroll. That's before he became a pensioner. He would just say, listen, I want you to work so that you can give me money. I want you to work so that I can say -1% for my payroll. Because I have a lot of kids that I need to be taking care of for them to be going through varsity and all of that stuff. So his main ultimatum is to see every single one of his kids getting off his payroll. Not that I'm investing so that tomorrow there'll be a return where you are paying me back for stuff that I did for you. So much that, guys, let me tell you that now, if I give my parents money or anything, like literally anything that I could do at home, there's absolutely nothing that they do not appreciate that I do. Like the simplest things, simple things. They appreciate because they're not expecting anything, and it makes it easy for me to even do things because I know no matter what I do, even if I just bring chewing gum when I'm coming back home, they'll appreciate it because they're not expecting that chewing gum from me. Holly says even though they could afford it, they could afford, I did all for my late parents, will do it again, yes. I just have one question for you, Holly. Did you do everything for your parents because they made you feel like you are responsible for them, you owe them that much? Or is it because of out of the goodness of your own heart where you just wanted to do it? Did you have any pressure? Because I need us to discuss this thing. Because I know that it's not everybody that is doing things for their parents because they want to do it. And sometimes you find your parents, and this is so common, guys, amongst people who parents, some of them, they don't even work, ne? But you find that they're competing with next door neighbors who actually work. Neighbors buy new couches. Yo, I want new couches. Neighbors buy a new house, a new car. Yo, got my child, you would buy me a car. Guys, to what extent where do you draw the line with such parents? I do it out of love. Okay, that's great. We're now men up kings. Masilo Mameja, Madam Speaker, here for wisdom and to overcome hardships of life. I love you so much. Thank you so much, Masilo. Thank you so much. So basically, that is what I'm here about. Mpo says they don't owe us anything. They can only help if there's a need. Okay, you are speaking on behalf of a parent, Nempo. Guys, don't be shocked. I'm reading both comments from TikTok and on YouTube. Ne? So if you're seeing a comment that I'm not reading, just know I'm reading it on the other app that you're not joined at. Ne? Tetelo says kids should never be seen as retirement plans. Let me tell you, my sister, ne, or my brother, I don't know whether Tetelo is a guy or a girl, but let me tell you, there's this thing that you have failed, as a parent, and trust me, because we should call you privilege. Okay, yeah. So as I was saying, ne, that there are certain things that as parents, and I think parents, you need to get this, I could have been a doctor. Let me just give you an example with myself. I could have been a doctor because of how good my results were, my metric results, Literally, I can be anything I want to be with my metric results. Basically, that's what I'm saying. There's not a qualification that I would apply at and I would get a rejection because of how good my metric results were. But for my own reasons, I decided to choose let me call it the easy way out for myself. Allow me. I know for some people, this can be offensive. But let me say, I chose the easy way out because I chose to do electrical engineering, which is going to make me quickly, I want to quickly get it over and done with and get a career that I'm quickly going to get a job. I'm quickly going to be set. You understand? So with me doing all of that, then it goes back to that. After I've done that, I did a career that I didn't like just because I knew I could because my capacity, Yes, T, I did get distinctions. I even got a distinction in maths. That's how good I was. Anyway, as I was still saying, that I could have done anything, but I didn't do that. I did electrical engineering because I wanted to quickly finish my studies and quickly work and quickly be independent and quickly fall out of the payroll. Yeah, my father. You get what I mean? But then when I'm growing older, I can't now come and say, because I could have done medicine, or maybe I should have done medicine, or I should have done, I don't know what, ne? Then my child must do it. That's basically how parents are. Some parents, ne? The things that they didn't do that they wanted to do, but they were not afforded the opportunity for whatever reason. Then they come back and say, you must do it. So meaning that when I give birth to a child who is a girl, she must come and fulfill the dreams that I didn't fulfill. She must come and do the things that I didn't do because I had a valid reason why I couldn't do it. Therefore, I'm going to make sure that I afford her the opportunity to do the stuff that I couldn't do. And then I give birth to her. She's born. She doesn't want to do the things that I was doing. She doesn't want to do any of the things that I have in mind for her. You get what I mean? She doesn't want to do any of that stuff. So because she doesn't want to do any of that stuff, all these high yes, thank you so much, blessed. All these high expectations that I have of my child, just because now I fail to do them, and I believe that no, this is my child. I was smart. I know she's smart. Therefore, she can do the things that I didn't do. That's where the problem starts. And now another thing is when you couldn't go to school as a mom, when you couldn't do this, when you couldn't do that, and this is the worst thing. The worst thing is when you put your life on hold because you want to choose your kids, ne? And please, this one, there's a very thin line here. There's a thin line between you choosing your kids over a toxic relationship to you choosing your kids, in general. Just J, you decided that ever since you became a mother, you're going to abandon your dreams and visions and you're just going to focus on parenthood. And then you abandon your dreams and visions and you become a parent. And you think that when your kids grow older and they become successful, let's say, for example, my child decides when they're going to do medicine, they're going to become a doctor. And then when they're older and they do all of that and they become successful and they don't come back to me to worship the ground that I work on, to make me recover from the stuff that I've missed in life. Now I feel like my kids are ignoring me. Now I feel like my kids don't appreciate me. And when I think about the life that I actually abandoned, I could have been married to some guy and be cruising somewhere in the Bahamas, in some yacht. But I decided I'm not going to do all of that. I'm going to be a parent. And in return, I expect my kids to appreciate the fact that I compromise myself and I sacrifice myself just so that I can be a parent. Whose fault is that? Whose fault is it that whether you decided who you are going to abandon your dreams so that you can be a good parent? Do you know that there are some parents who are good parents but who are still persuading their dreams? That's why I always say that we're not saying be a toxic parent. We're not saying be an absent parent. We are saying, Uri, you need to take care of yourself as much as you're taking care of your kids. Because your kids are going to grow up and they're going to go away. And it will just be you. I always speak about this with my partner, that when it comes to our kids, that we are working so hard for, these kids are going to grow up and they're going to go their separate ways. And it's just going to be me and him left together. Are we going to be able to stand each other? Now that we don't have all these people that we are taking care of, wow, we are doing a great teamwork of taking care of all these kids that we have. And then after they've grown up and they've gone and it's just me and him looking at each other, do we even like each other like that? Or the kids were just there to distract us so that our focus can be, we're on a mission to make sure these kids grow up in a healthy, safe environment and they become the best version of themselves. And when they're done with all of that, we are looking at each other and we are thinking, we didn't even live. I don't know how many times I say how many times I've spoken about this on these lives, about my grandmother, to say that woman is 102 years old this year, and she always says that I've done my part, I can die now. I've done my part, I can die now. Because I've raised all of you, your kids. I've raised my kids' kids, and this and this and this and that, And then now after she has done all of that, she can't really say much about doing stuff for herself. It's always stuff that she's done for other people. And that's the life that I don't want. Hi, love. Hello.
Hello.
How are you?
All right.
I'm also good, thank you. Yes, no voice about it. Okay, I think maybe love is having a bit of a problem with the network. But basically, you get what I mean, guys, ne? To say, where do we draw the line? Or how do we, in a healthy way, maybe let me put it like this. How do I, in a healthy way, draw a boundary so much that my parents are not going to feel attacked? They're not going to feel like I'm rebellious. They're not going to feel like I don't appreciate what they've done for me. But I am still in a position where I'm saying, no, I'm not going to be able to push myself. I'm not going to take a debt just so that I can please you and other people. I'm not going to do this and that. I'm going to be a present child. I'm going to make you proud by doing stuff for myself so that I can be independent. I'm going to do things for you here and there where I can. Even when you ask for help from me, I'm going to help you. But going beyond my means just so that I can please you because you gave birth to me so that I can take care of you, I can't do that, you know? Rebecca says, especially when it comes to money, things of value, or her first comment said, also the competition that they made between siblings. Yo, that one is another story for another day. Our sibling rivalry. I think it's been a while since we spoke about sibling rivalry, which has been perpetuated by parents, you know. Yeah, it's been a while we've spoken about that, and I think we should revisit it. It's just that I think I've got a friend whose situation is like that, but it's very close to home, you know, so much that yeah, I think we'll revisit the sibling rivalry perpetuated by parents in the future, you know. But for today, when we're talking about the parents themselves, you know, the parents themselves to say, to what extent do you feel like you own, you know? Hello, Mister. Own up, man up. How are you doing, sir? Hello.
How are you?
Good, thanks. How are you?
Hi, good evening. Can you hear me?
Yes, yes, I can hear you.
I'm doing well, thank you. This. Yeah, this topic is very personal to most of us. I spoke to one of my clients. So this lady, she's working two jobs. She is supporting her aunt, her uncles, and their kids. And mind you, she does not have parents. You know, she took so long to just to buy herself a two-seater couch because she is supporting these people. Now, their kids are now working, but they don't want to assist. And I said, look, I understand that you have a very big heart, especially ladies. This is your problem as ladies. You guys have big hearts, you are caring and stuff, and you can't really draw the line most of the time when it comes to family, when you guys are helping the family. That's why it is very easy to scam ladies, because you guys, you just have good hearts. So I said, you know what you need to do is this: just for 1 month, just close the tap, close the supply, tell them that, look, I'm no longer working, or I'm not going to get paid, and so forth, so that they can think and do something. I said, have you thought about what is going to happen? God forbid, what is going to happen if you are not here? Have you thought about where do you want to be in 5 years' time? Will you still be supporting these people? So, and she is so exhausted. You can see she is so exhausted. She can't function. So please, ladies, if your peace, your well-being is very important, because you're going to lose yourself. You need your body, you need your mind, so that it can carry you, and so that you can be able to live. So please take care of yourself. Some of you can't even take yourself out for ice cream, because there are people who are demanding from you. So please, ladies, just take care of yourself. It really breaks my heart to know that there are people who are like that.
My brother, I didn't want to cut you when you were talking, ne?
Those people are not going to die if you don't give them money.
I didn't want to cut you, but I have a question, ne? Do you really believe that it's because we have big hearts, or it's because majority of us suffer from people-pleasing tendencies? Like we have got all these childhood traumas, you know, crying for attention as a child so much that you feel like now as an adult, that void of you being needed and being important is going to be filled by you just pouring into other people. Is it really that we have big hearts as women? Like, if you were to be completely honest. I think we've got a bit of a time delay there with our brother.
Okay. According to my experience, I just you guys. Can you hear me? According to my experience, I just think that you guys are just caring too much. Yeah, you're just caring too much. According to my experience, a lot of ladies that I came across, it's not about trying to fill the gap. Maybe they are those who are trying to fill the void, and but most of you are just caring human beings. and you don't know where to draw the line. You don't have a stop.
So we don't have boundaries. We don't know boundaries.
You don't know boundaries. That's why even a lady can tell you that, I've been scammed by boyfriends so many times up until they even take your pension money. To the point whereby even when you are wiser, you have experience in these things, but you are using your heart to think, using your emotions to think. So I think you guys are just caring too much. Using your emotions to think. So I think you guys are just caring too much.
Thank you so much, my brother. Love.
Thank you so much, my brother. Hi, what mean?
I'm good, thanks. How are you?
I'm fine. Yo, madam, Shem, today the topic is fire. Now I'm a firstborn at home. I have 6 siblings. And literally, if you see my siblings, you'll think they are my children because of the age gap. I'm that child who was raised by everyone and anyone in the family. I was not really raised by my mother. I don't know my biological mother's love. I know my grandmother's love because I was raised by her. And then I don't think my mother really put the responsibility on me, but maybe somewhere, somehow life just put it on me, or I put it on myself. For the past maybe 16 years, working for home, making sure I'm raising my siblings. Half the things I had to go through, they don't know, they don't go through them. Mara, today, if I tell you that I don't have a relationship with my mother, I don't have a relationship with my siblings, you won't believe. There's friends of mine, like, I was very blessed because my father, there's a man in the Bible, I'm not really clued up with the Bible, but there's a man who was put in the fish in the Bible.
Jonah.
Yes, my father was one. I always refer my father to that God put him away so that he can come back into my life at the right time. So I was blessed that he took me to school. And then my father always says, you should have gone and did your master's and your doctorate. But because I was looking at the situation behind me, I started working when I was in matric to make sure that I work for home. Now I would buy groceries. I would buy clothes for my siblings. I would buy toffees. January for 5 children. There were times when I would have panic attacks, and I'm that person who tries to hide from them that I'm in pain at this point with the salary. Black salary, black female salary. It's not a lot. Mara, you are trying to fit in all these people into this one salary. And they got to a point where, bateba, I don't know how to put that in English.
Yeah, they
where-
become spoiled brats.
Yes. And then later, life, at the end of the day, life will life. I had to grow up, have my own family, have my own children. Now my own children were not enjoying the benefits of having me as a mother because I have to work for home. And I would end up neglecting myself, neglecting my children. I don't know how to love myself. Now I'm at a point where after they divorced me, I decided, you know what, let me just look out for number one and look out for my children also. Now my children are starting to enjoy the benefits of having a mother who is present financially, physically, even mentally. Because you're not sitting there worrying about what are they eating, where they are, what are they doing. My mother would call me in the middle of the night and say, "Ngwana wa lwala," as if this is my child. When I'm here with my children, the way they were expecting that I would everything and anything, they wouldn't try anything. And my mother is young; she's 50 now, but she's never bothered to work. She's always expected that somebody else will do it for her. Either the siblings will do it for her, either the baby daddies will do it for her, and all of that. And worst part, she taught my siblings that they must also expect that and that they must not respect me. Literally, I saw one of my siblings graduating on Facebook when I was the one who was standing in queues in university to make sure that she goes to university. When I was making sure that if the fees are short, if NSFAS, for NSFAS sometimes that pays and doesn't pay, and she taught them that. Now they don't even come to my house. It's 2 years now, and I'm at peace. Even when I tell people, I'm like, I don't even want to fix the relationship because me fixing the relationship means me going back to being that person that was always people pleasing them, as the previous speaker spoke. We are people pleasing. And I don't know if I should blame the parents or blame us or blame the situation, but somewhere there's a disconnect somewhere, somehow, and we try to fix it. And sometimes the aunts and the uncles, they put pressure on us also, because they will call your mother names as much as she did not raise you, but she gave birth to you. So when they're calling you guys cabbages and vegetables, that also creates something in you to try and say, let me fix this situation, let me fix this woman's life, so that when they see her, they will respect her. Because in my family, she's the only one who was not married. All of them, they were married. Men married other women, women were married to other men. So the only thing with her that was wrong was the fact that she had children with different fathers. Maybe. So that is how I was raised up, and I ended up trying to fix that problem to an extent where it put my own life in jeopardy. And I thank God for the fact that I got the wisdom to listen to other people who were not in the situation, because they are the ones who helped me. There was a point where I decided, when I bought my house 10 years ago, that I'm buying this house for my mother. And at that time, I had a stepfather who was present in my mother's life, who even raised me. And then somebody said to me, don't do that. Because this man, when he's living in the house that you are paying, what are you going to be saying? Are you going to be putting email in that house when this person is the one who's living there? And then he's the man of the house, but you are the one who's paying. And I thank God that I listened to that lady, because I didn't do that, and today I'm living in that house. So had I made that decision, I would still be owning this house, and then they wouldn't be respecting me there, and then they wouldn't be, I wouldn't have gotten the love that I actually wanted. Maybe that was my way of trying to buy love from her, because at the end of the day, still I don't, even though I did all these other things, but still today I don't have the respect or the love or the attention that I actually wanted. Now I live like I'm an orphan. I always tell people when they say their parents died, and I'm like, I'm an orphan, but I have both my parents who are still alive. So that's the two cents that I want
Yo,
to today's
my sister, whenever somebody shares their story of where they are currently or the stuff that they've been through, it's always, when you go back all the way back to their upbringing, it always has to start there to say what is it that they were exposed to get to where they are today. And with you, I want to ask you this. I hope you don't mind me just going back and forth with you with questions. The first thing that I want to ask you is, did you ever go through, because I know most of us, we actually only start going through therapy when we get divorced, because that's where you like hit rock bottom proper. Did you ever attend therapy to speak to someone about your upbringing?
The first time I went for therapy was when I literally drove myself to Vista, because I was feeling like there's something wrong with me. And I don't know. And true, I was also going through that separation and divorce, all of that. I was going through it, and I was feeling and I remember saying too, because when I got there, I literally did. I walked in with a psychologist, and I didn't know that man was a psychologist or psychiatrist. And when I walked in, I got to reception, and I'm like, I want to see anyone. I didn't have an appointment. I was just feeling like today I'm just gonna best. And then that lady called that doctor that just walked in, and then he had an opening, and I went into his room, and I just cried, and I said, "Can you please call my husband? Because these two people, my husband and my..."
Okay, I've lost you there. My sister, I've lost you. I don't know if maybe I'm the only one who cannot hear her, but I cannot hear her anymore. Hello? Okay, she's gone. I'm hoping that she's gonna request and come back again, guys, because I feel like I really want us to learn a lot of lessons from this lady, because this is the reality of a lot of people's lives. I think that's why I was asking my brother earlier on before she joined in to say, is it really that we have big hearts as women, or is it because of the stuff that we've been through? Because whenever you hear a story of somebody who who has a big heart. Like, if we start from the point of them having a big heart, having done so many things, when you take them all the way back to check or how was their upbringing to get to the point where they are now, majority, I don't want to generalize, and I don't want to paint people with the same brush there, but most of the times you will find that there are some missing puzzles from their childhood. Like when you are checking love story, you can tell that because she was neglected as a child by her mom, she grows up with this thing of having a void of not knowing a mother's love, meaning that she will try her level best to use whatever resources that she has to get to a point where she feels a mother's love. If it means that she needs to buy it by doing certain things, then she will do that so that she will feel important in the family. So because all of those things happen while you are still young, when you grow older, when you are still younger, they frustrate you because you don't have a solution. Like, you don't have things that you can do to fill that void or to make yourself feel important. But as you grow older and you start working, then you know that when you start working and you start providing to such people, it makes you feel important. You get what I mean? And the more you feel important, you are hoping that in return, these people are going to show you love, and whatever they didn't give you as a child, they're now going to give you as an adult. So it's more like you are doing a trade, you are doing a trade whereby you are giving somebody, hoping that in return they will give you. But remember, the people that you are giving to, they don't have anything to offer you in return, so you are hoping that they will offer you at least love. So it's a trade exchange that you are doing. And as you grow older, you end up being in a relationship. You end up getting married to people that even when you get there, you will call yourself one person who has a gift of giving is your ministry. You give so much that you volunteer yourself everywhere you go. Maybe that is one of the reasons why you qualify as a candidate for marriage, because when you get there, when you get to the in-laws, you are the ones with the cuckoos, you are the one who's volunteering, you're cooking, you're cleaning, you're baking. Then it qualifies you to be a wife material. As you grow older, when you get to a point where Love was saying, Ori, she felt like she was going to explode, something is happening. It's when, after so many years of layers and layers and layers of traumas, which have built up so much that they've actually not resolved anything, you get to a point where you feel like you're going to explode now, because all of your efforts over the years have not resulted in anything fruitful. Like, as you are hearing now what Love was saying, she's saying that her siblings still don't respect her, even after whatever she's done for them, even after she's really sacrificed herself and compromised herself for her siblings. She still didn't even have a couch, and all of those things, they build up on top of what is already there. She's saying that her sister was getting, she saw pictures on Facebook that her sister is graduating. All of those things, it feels like double betrayal, because you thought you could figure out a solution to the void that you have on the inside. And then when you get to a point where all of those things you don't solve anything, Poppy saying, take us, keep taking. And then now all of a sudden you get to a point where you feel like, I've done everything I could to please everyone around me, to a point where I have nothing left to give. There's absolutely nothing more I can do for anyone for them to actually appreciate me and love me. But still, people don't love me. I've tinted my pockets, I've showed you everything that I have in me. You still don't love me. Then it says, Hori, there's absolutely nothing you will ever do that will make people love you. No matter how much you can try and buy them, no matter how much you can try and show them that I'm for you, for as long as they don't have it in you, you need to somehow find a way to deal with the fact that these people don't love me. They're in my life, they brought me to this world, they're related to me by blood, but they don't love me. Then what do? And mind you, once you create that habit that you are always providing for people, they move from seeing you as something useless to something that is buying their love, to something that is only useful when they need stuff. So they keep taking from you only when they need. They would never check up on you, how you're doing. They will never say thank you after you've done something for them, because they don't love you like that. They don't see you like that. They only see you as a thing that they go and take from. You get what I mean? And when you realize all of that, you come crashing down. You come crumbling down. And when you come crumbling down, what happens to you is what happens to Love, where she ends up having to go to a psychiatric ward. I was really hoping that she's going to tell us a story to say, it didn't have to come. I was hoping that it doesn't have to come from me, because now I'm just speaking about generally what usually happens to people when you go through stuff that she's been through. You get what I mean? Okay, she's back. Because I really just want us to learn, guys, so that you understand that no matter how much money you can use to buy people, rather take that money and go for therapy, you know, love yourself and understand that even when you are giving, you're not giving from an empty cup, you know. Hi, love.
Hi.
Are you
I
back?
continued speaking alone.
Oh, Askisi, but did you hear me while I was speaking now, before you came back?
Now, yeah, I heard you.
Okay, yeah, so that's why I was saying what I wanted you to tell us about your journey from going to therapy, how you discovered what you discovered in therapy to you having now to get to a point where you are saying I'm on a journey of self-love.
Yes, I went to therapy and then I started getting onto medication. But even then, like my mother studied psychology a bit, not finished, but studied a bit. Like she's that woman where everybody who has problems, they will go to her. But when it comes to me, it's like it's a different story. Literally, this woman would shout at me, and when she's shouting, if the issue is A, she will shout until Z. Issues that were not even related to this thing, including my father, to tell me how much my father robbed her of her youth and all of that. You know, but every time I would try and not take it personally, and I would try to also understand that maybe she has issues or she did not deal with her own issues and all of that. And I remember at points that I would tell people that I'm sacrificing my love that I'm supposed to receive from her so that she can give it to my other siblings because we are a lot and I'm older than they are. So when I went for therapy, I went the first time, then I became better because after you drink those medications, it makes you feel better a bit. And then after a while, I went back into the same depression again. And when I try to leave my relationship with my ex now, she would be the one advocating for it, even though she sees that this relationship is not working. And I saw that she's trying to live her life vicariously through me because she every time her siblings would always insult her and say, because you're not married. So now it felt like it's a victory for the fact that me, somebody's trying to be marrying me. And now it's like you must just beg Zela, even if you can see that it is not working. She ended up not being even being my pillar because when I wanted to leave, I went somewhere else. So that she found out maybe a few days later that I have decided this is the route that I'm taking. And she would still try to find other people to convince me to go back to that situation so that she can get the money for the Lobola money. But then I still continued with my own journey. The breaking point, even at it was not a breaking point. I had a ceremony coming home, and she was supposed to be here as my family, as my pillar, and my siblings. They decided not to pitch. Everybody there that day, I'm one person I really cry, but at the end of the day, I was crying the whole day, and everybody was just trying to be supportive. Strangers that I didn't even know were there supporting me. And I continued sending money for groceries and all of that, even though they would take the money. They wouldn't even say thank you. And then I spoke to a colleague at work, and this lady, she was so calm and nice, and she said to me, you know, why is your mother, I don't know how to put it in English, but why is your mother a kaula mpaya high? You know, to make you as her children coming from the same womb, to not be one. And then she was like, you know, a mother, in any situation, a mother, they would say they have killed somebody and butchered them and all of that. They'd still be in court, sitting there, supporting their child. But why is yours decide? Even if she just came and just sat there and didn't speak to anyone, but she chose not to come. And then after that lady said that to me, it was like something just moved from my eyes, and now I could see the light or whatever. And then at that point, that was when I was like, you know what? This is my time to start loving me. And then after that, I went for a spiritual class, and randomly, this lady said to me, don't you find it curious that after you left your ex, then next thing your mother, who was the same toxic level as the ex was. And then it gave me something to think about. And ever since, even now, I still don't feel like I have the energy or the will to want to fix the relationship. I feel like it's fine the way it is. I don't have a mother. I'm okay. I'm able to now love my children. That space that I was always having to give other people my love and energy. Now I'm able to give it to myself, and I'm able to give it to my children.
Sure, my sister. And when was the last time you spoke to your mom?
Last year January.
Last year January. And you are saying, Ori, ever since then, even with your siblings, you just see them on social media with the developments and everything that's happening in their lives.
I don't even check them.
Yeah.
I don't check them because it's just another painful thing.
Yeah.
Maybe for me it's ignorant to just ignore it and pretend like it's not there. But one thing I've realized is that I have not dealt with the pain. That's one thing that keeps coming up at different points in my life, that I have not yet started dealing with this pain. Because now my question to myself is, what if something happens tomorrow and they need me as their sister? How am I going to receive them? How am I going to help them?
Yeah. And ever since then, have you stopped supporting them or buying groceries for them and all that stuff?
Yeah, I stopped, I think, Feb, if not March last year.
Let me tell you, ne, there's something that actually happened to me a couple of, I think, 2 years ago, ne, where someone that I loved with all of my heart, ne, did something to me that hurt me. And after that, 2 years later, something happened to them. And when they did something to me, we stopped communicating. Ne? And then when something happened to them, and I heard about what happened to them, I felt a pain which went from here to the back. And this pain, remember, is the pain of somebody that I've decided to cut off because they were not good for me or because of what they did to me. You get me? So when I felt that pain, I went to my therapist because I'm a big fan of therapy. Ne? I went to my therapist and I asked my therapist, how come I'm feeling so much pain for someone who has actually done something to me that is out of this world, unbelievably so, you know? Weren't they feeling any pain when they did what they did to me? You know what that therapist said to me? She said to me that your problem is that you think people are like you. The problem is you think everybody is like you, and not everybody is like you. There are people who are so heartless in this world that no matter what happens to you, they will still feel no pain. Meaning that no matter how much you can try and speak to them for them to understand certain things, they will not understand. Simply because they don't operate like you. They don't have this heart that you have. They don't have that thing. And unfortunately, it's no matter how many times you can cry about it, no matter how many times you can try and convince them, that thing is not coming. So I think also with you, because of what you've been through and what has developed over the years because of what you've been through, the expectation is that everybody should be like you, in a sense that they should have a heart, they should feel your pain, they should this, they should that. So the answer is that even if something does happen, it's not going to be a wake-up call for other people. It's not going to do anything for other people. So what I would say to you is, if anything happens and it requires you to be present, you're not doing it for other people. You are only doing what your heart wants you to do. So if anything happens and during that time your heart says don't do anything about it, just sit and do absolutely nothing, then don't do anything about it. But if your heart says go, then you should, because you are a person. And just because you have these feelings that you have, it doesn't mean that everybody has to operate the way that you do. That's just a sad reality. To say you can love people who actually don't have love in their hearts. It's the same as having a cell phone. I love my cell phone, but my cell phone doesn't love me back. And that's just unfortunate that no matter how much I love my cell phone and I can change it covers and put pretty covers with flowers and everything, my cell phone will never ever love me back because it is not designed like that. It is not designed to love people. It is designed to do certain things. So that's just how you are as a person. You were designed to love, but just because you are loving people, it doesn't mean that they were designed to love in the same fashion that you love them.
Yeah, I'm learning that every time, because there was an incident where a friend called, my mother's friend called me, and she was complaining and saying, your mother is sick, she's not well, you can see that it's stress and all of that. And I at that point I didn't feel anything, and I didn't do anything about it. I just switched off. I don't know if it's natural or normal, but at that point I just felt I was not rude to her. I just agreed to whatever she was saying. But after that, I didn't do anything about it. I just sat and did nothing, and I just continued with my life. And this was probably 6 months ago, and I'm okay.
Yeah, so you need to take it easy on yourself, take it one day at a time. And whatever that happens must happen and should happen and will happen. Regardless of how you feel where you are in this life, things will happen. And I just want to say bravo to you for the fact that you are starting to rebuild your life and love yourself and understand, you know, the stuff that you've been through. Because I was saying, I don't know if you were here when I was speaking about your situation, saying that, you know, the minute you said that your mother was not present when you were growing up, it obviously